Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Let's get after it.
Village life in China has been described as relatively peaceful, with lush greenery and crops surrounding people who live in such areas. China's economic boom caused many to abandon the countryside in favor of cities, which makes such villages even more peaceful than before. Although this is the case, this particular village would unfortunately have their peace shattered by one of the most scary and bizarre things that nobody had expected. Watch.
Tao bám tù này cả bên nương ăn lao đấy lêu tinh thần tốt là tăng đòn bên này cả.
As the man recording looked to the sky, he saw an object in free fall that landed in their village, exploding on impact. That object was actually a booster from a Chinese rocket that was sent to space. They also managed to get a close look at the debris from the crash site. Digging deeper into the subject, it was said that the people in this area were notified of the booster falling towards their location. However, the place that it was set to crash on was miscalculated by at least a few kilometers. This cannot be confirmed 100%, as no Chinese source has reported it, but if it is true, it would mean that countless lives were put at risk, without them even having an idea of it.
When I first saw this, I thought it was footage of that rocket that launched from that old missile silo last week. I think, personally, if they can't give their citizens an accurate description of where the rockets are going to fall when they have a mishap like this, then they probably shouldn't be launching rockets around a populated area. Just another clear-cut example of government stupidity. Doesn't matter what country you're in, apparently. All the people at the top are just as qualified to do their job as I am. Not at all.
Y'all have to watch this drone footage. So somebody was flying a drone over Hart Island in New York and they captured this. Several people in hazmat suits watching an excavator cover up coffins. Y'all, this is absolutely wild. Apparently this footage was taken around the height of COVID, and New York City was burying people that weren't claimed in their hospitals in mass graves on this island called Hart Island, which is kind of weird to me. This seems more like zombie type stuff than it does COVID, because why wouldn't you just cremate the bodies? That seems more civil than burying a bunch of people in a mass grave on an island. But New York even said that it's true. They have mass graves all over this island called Hart Island, and that's where they put all their unclaimed bodies and stillborns. Did anybody else know about this? This is creepy. What do y'all think about this?
So that's old footage from the pandemic. It doesn't make any sense at all that they didn't just incinerate those bodies. I know if that was my family member in one of those mass graves, I'd much rather have the ashes on a mantle than a gigantic mound in the dirt that I can't even access. I can't help but wonder if the family members of those who are buried there are allowed to go visit the site. I highly doubt it, but I really wonder.
So this Brazilian influencer, Cat Torres, was just sentenced to 8 years in prison. She literally tricked her fans into coming and living with her and then trafficked them as slaves to make her money. Torres flew these two women into Austin, Texas from Brazil, where she forced them to work every day in one of those adult clubs where they were doing more than just dancing, because she told them if they didn't bring home at least $2,000 a day, they had to go to the streets and they had nowhere to live. Meanwhile, their families back home were looking for them and they contacted the FBI, and the FBI spent like 2 years looking for these women. Which is pretty embarrassing for the FBI, because the family straight up told them that their girls were living with Cat Torres in the United States, and she had over 1 million followers on Instagram posting daily, and the FBI just couldn't locate this chick. But eventually they did catch up with her, and they figured out that she was trafficking these women, using them as slaves, and she just got sentenced to 8 years in prison.
The sheer level of incompetence of our FBI is embarrassing in a way I can't even describe. I guess the moral of this story is to be careful who you trust on the internet. I think it's hilarious how people just think that they know everything about a person just because they watched a few videos that they posted online. Take me, for example. I could be an absolute lunatic as far as you know, but I've got people who reach out to me and tell me their entire life story like I'm a long-lost family member. They feel like they know me because they watch my videos. Now, I try to be honest and genuine with my audience, so that may be my doing to a degree, and I'm personally completely fine with it. But you never truly know who someone is online, so you need to be very careful who you put your trust in. Hey, if you're enjoying this video and you like this kind of content, I make a new one just like it every day, Monday through Friday at 3 p.m. It would be awesome if you'd hit that subscribe button and come back tomorrow to join me.
For the first time ever, these two countries linked up and made the block around Alaska. Suspicious as these two have been kikiing all year long, making plans, I believe, to take Alaska back. This man right here believes that the sale of Alaska in 1867 was actually illegal and that Russia should have rights to it. Now, mind you, Russia is only like 55 miles away from Alaska. It's much closer than you think it is. And remember, it was just last month that Russia vowed retaliation against the US for an attack on Crimea. Now we have Russian bombers and Chinese bombers off the coast of Alaska. Now, let me be clear, these planes did not enter American airspace at any point in time. They were just hitting the block. They just wanted to swing by so that we saw them and they saw us. There is no formal alliance between China and Russia. There is just a handshake deal. It's a de facto relationship. And it's been strengthening all year long as Putin has been visiting China. Alaska is the biggest state in the United States. Do you think if Russia took it, it would not be a really big blow? Do you think they can take it?
The next season of Life on Earth is shaping up to be a summer blockbuster. As if things weren't bad enough here in the States, we now have other countries supposedly claiming U.S. territories as their own. I can't help but wonder if the United States is even going to exist before long. Our government seems like it's hell-bent on getting us into war with as many countries as possible, all while our military recruitment numbers are at an all-time low. Is anyone even manning the wheel up there?
Farmers in Ontario are being forced off their land. Please don't scroll away, this is urgent, and protecting farmers is more important now than ever. Farmers and landowners were approached by a private company and given compensation offers to buy their land. But then they were told if they didn't accept these compensation offers, their land would be expropriated by the region of Waterloo. And by the way, many say that the compensation that was offered is way too low for what the land is worth. Expropriation is when private land is taken by the government, and it's usually only used during times of emergency, dire need, or if it's for a really important public good. Instead, the region of Waterloo has decided they want this land for a future industrial site, but they don't even have a company lined up yet to push this plan forward. So in the meantime, they are forcing farmers off their land for a hypothetical. Some of these landowners have been on the land generationally for over 150 years. Just imagine what it's like to be uprooted and told this land is no longer yours to farm. Farmers literally make their livelihoods by growing the food that feeds all of us, and now with less and less farms every year, food security is a huge issue. The region wants this done and farmers off their land by August. And let me just remind you that this is growing season and the amount of stress that this adds to farmers' lives. I mean, many of these farmers didn't even know if they should plant their crops. This is their livelihood that we're talking about. This leaves landowners and farmers that depend on their land without a livelihood and likely minimal compensation for what their properties are worth. And with the price of land these days, it could make it really difficult for them to get back into land ownership or even farming altogether. Listen to how heartbreaking their testimonies are.
They didn't come to ask if they could buy the farm. They came and told us they're gonna buy it, if you like it or not. If not, we're gonna expropriate you off your property. The way we've been treated from them is extremely unfair. I put everything on the line to be able to make it work. I get up every morning early and I work almost 24 hours a day to be able to make my payments on that farm. For a while, I didn't even know if I could plant my crop. I mean, what am I supposed to do?
Only 1% of Ontario's farmland is prime agricultural farmland, meaning that this land being expropriated is some of the most rare and fertile land in all of Canada. It is life-giving and necessary to feed us all, and yet the region is acquiring 770 acres of this land. So what can you do? The farmers have been trying to fight back and protect their homes and livelihoods.
I know I talk about the problems here in the States mostly, but it sounds like there's an attack on the food supply in Canada just like we're experiencing down here. This is one I just don't get. Like, I know that if they control the food supply, they control the people, but it seems like they want there to be no food at all. What happens then? You can't control the people if they're all starved to death. This simply makes zero sense why the Canadian government, or any government whatsoever, would be using up fertile farmland for industrial purposes.
I was giving a friend of mine a ride home one night, and we were going 80 miles an hour in an SUV in the fast lane. She said something to me, and I looked at her, answered her, and when I looked back, all the cars in front of us had come to a stop. I shouted at her, "We're gonna hit." I hit my foot on the brakes, the tires locked up, and the last thing I did was crank the steering wheel to the side and ducked. And there was a flash of light. And the next thing we know, we're sitting upright, driving 80 miles an hour still, now in the carpool lane with all those cars behind us. It was impossible. It was something I couldn't understand. It wasn't weird enough to make me think, oh, it's aliens. Like, But the bizarre thing was that more things kept happening to me that I couldn't explain. And then there was this one night. I woke up in an extreme panic. And the sheet got pulled up over my head and back tight. So much so that it pulled my forehead back. My instant reaction was my hands reach up, grabbed it, and pulled it down. And when that happened, I froze. And I couldn't move any part of my body. Couldn't move my eyeballs, nothing.
There's not much that's more intriguing than a first-hand account of a paranormal experience. The reason I put this in here is to let you all know, if you're interested in hearing more first-hand accounts of paranormal experiences, the podcast is now live. Go to the link in the description or search YouTube for Unknown Caller Paranormal Switchboard.
Another cop takes the life of an innocent person, and he let off 19 rounds just to do so. 17-year-old Elijah Hadley was walking home in the dark on the highway. When Elijah was walking home, an officer seen him and was very curious of what he was doing walking on the highway. So he stopped Elijah to ask him what he was doing. Elijah was carrying an airsoft gun with him just for his own protection, because where Elijah lived, there was a lot of wild animals. When Elijah was stopped, he dropped the airsoft gun, and right when he did so, the cop let off 4 rounds. When Elijah got hit 4 times, he was screaming, "No, it's a BB gun, it's a BB gun." Now this is the crazy part. The cop runs to the other side of the car, grabs something out of it. He runs back to the other side where Elijah was at, tells Elijah not to move, and then lets off 15 rounds, taking the life of this 17-year-old young man. I seen a video where this young lady believes that her uncle is sleeping. She says in the video how much she missed her uncle, and she can't wait till he wake up. Now the few videos I seen them in, this little girl loved her uncle, and he loved this little girl like it was his own. But the crazy part about the story is, the officer that took his life is on a leave of absence right now. Please do everything in y'all power to share this story. And I want to send my deepest condolences to his family members and friends. And if you have any family members or friends and you want their story to get out, definitely let me know in the comments or DM me. I want to use my platform to bring a lot of justice and help a lot of people's stories get told. But y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments, and rest in peace, Elijah.
I just simply wanted to spread awareness to this story. This is absolutely heartbreaking. A police officer who, according to their own actions, had zero business wearing a badge.
P. Diddy passed away this morning, and I'm talking about his entire career. So guys, P. Diddy paid $1 million for the assassination of Tupac. Yes, you heard that correctly. Court just revealed through documents that he paid for this. So as you can see right here through this tweet, the Tupac murder case has been a never-ending solve, and now they think they finally got it. And it's been proven today that $1 million for the rapper's assassination was paid from P. Diddy. The fact that P. Diddy was behind this is leaving people shocked. He has a long history of crime, but this is just over the top. What do you guys think about this? Do you think they, what kind of beef did they have for this to happen? Let me know in the comments. This is absolutely crazy, and this is not made up. This is 100% real life. This is insane. I would never have expected this. Oh my goodness.
Well, there's an answer to a question I never thought I would get. Who took out Tupac? Puff Daddy. If I had to guess, and I'm totally just guessing, This makes me think that maybe the death of Biggie was revenge for the death of Tupac, because that was Puff Daddy's best friend as far as the media's portrayed it. It's about to get interesting, though. Going to be interesting to see how much time he gets for this and if it's proven in court that he was actually responsible.
Have you ever seen lightning like this before? I haven't.
I've never seen lightning behave like that. That makes me think of those weird storms that we saw a few months ago in Dubai that were producing weird lightning and thunderous horn sounds, and that guy on his balcony recorded a UFO flying past his building. As far as I understand it, lightning happens when the electrical current from the air makes contact with the ground. This looks like the lightning's making contact with something in the clouds.
You may have heard that the West plans to go to war against Russia, China, and Iran. An Anglo-American alliance that tells NATO countries what to do cannot win this planned war without the support of Turkey, Saudi Arabia, India, and Pakistan. Now you know why Western countries have to support mass immigration from such countries. European and Turkish men will be expected to fight Russia. Saudi and Pakistani men will be expected to fight Iran. Indian men will be expected to fight China. And British and American men will have to fight anyone anywhere in the world, though mostly at sea and in the air. And they're trying to get as many black Africans on board as well as cannon fodder, while Russia and China are equally interested in recruiting Africans for their side. Just like the European soccer competition, we may see blacks under different European flags fight each other to death for money. And we are doing all this grandiose confusion, mainly to defend Israel, but only by sacrificing Europe, Canada, the USA, and Australia in the process. The citizens of these places will be financially plundered in order to fund the war effort, while their men are being sent off to die at the front lines. Our homelands will be transformed forever and will not resemble their former selves after the war. In the meantime, I know that many Israelis and Zionists are thinking of relocating to places like Paraguay or Argentina, in case the State of Israel does not survive this war. The leader of Paraguay recently declared that he is proud to be a Jew, and the leader of Argentina, Milei, has converted to Judaism, although I suspect he was born that way. The female president of Mexico is also Jewish, and so is the leader of Ukraine. None of this makes any sense until you realize that most Ashkenazi Jews who form the Zionist leadership cadre are originally from Ukraine, such as Netanyahu, and they see Latin America as a safe place to flee to. So if the State of Israel does not survive Third World War, Latin America should expect to receive many millions of Jewish refugees who will eventually demand a new Zionist homeland there. My guess is they will take Paraguay. I also suspect that by that time Europe will lay in ruins and hundreds of millions of Europeans may need to migrate elsewhere because food, water, and energy will not be available after the war collapses the global supply chains. Europe cannot win this war. Whether the Anglo-American bosses win or lose, Europe will be sacrificed either way. Our people should expect to greatly suffer. We should prepare for it. Europeans would do well to start moving to the countryside, because when cities get hit with shortages, they quickly turn into unlivable places ruled by violent gangs. In all this military turmoil, our only choice is to prepare to rely on ourselves again.
It 100% feels like the world is going to enter into World War III soon, and it's going to be at a scale previously unheard of. All I can say is, heed this gentleman's warning, get out of the cities if you're able. When things start falling apart, that's the last place you're going to want to be. Cities are going to quickly become a massive population fighting over very few resources. That is very far from an ideal survival situation.
Here's one that really got me. If I asked you, would you take £10 million for free? You'd take it. It's safe to say that we'd all say yes, right? But here's the catch. If I said, you get £10 million for free right now, but you don't get to wake up tomorrow morning, meaning you're dead, would you take it then? I think it's safe to say the answer would be no. The interesting thing to me about that, and should be to you, because it's the truth, is that your life, that means then, is worth more than £10 million. You're worth more than $10 million. That means when you wake up tomorrow morning, that you tell yourself with a smile on your face that your life is worth more than £10 million. So get on with it, as you will.
So this clip was submitted by a viewer over in our Discord community. I just thought it was a really good thought experiment and would do a really good job of showing someone who has very little self-worth what their actual perceived value is. When you really put things into perspective, you may be more valuable to yourself than you realized. Excellent clip.
I am so upset that the things we did and the things we fought for and the boys that died for it, it's all gone down the drain. Our country's gone to hell in a handbasket. We haven't got the country we had when I was raised. Not at all. Nobody will have the fun I had. Nobody will have the opportunity I had. It's just not the same. That's not what I want. That's not what they died for. It's not it. I'm so sorry. I'll be all right. It just takes me time to get over it. Why me sitting here like this? All this support. Emily, it's just not the same. That isn't what we fought for.
This clip just broke my heart. You see this country falling apart, just slowly degrading, and you forget about all those who fought and died to protect this land for the next generations. And to see those generations just following along in the government propaganda and throwing their freedoms away is so disheartening it makes me sick. The one silver lining we have is that younger generations are reportedly more patriotic and more focused on family and good values. I'm keeping my fingers crossed that we're just in a dark phase and it'll one day pass.
A time traveler brought an iPhone 13 back to 1980.
1980, a Japanese journalist filmed an iPhone. It was an iPhone 13, and this video is currently resurfacing on the internet, creating an incredible buzz. This show was filmed in 1980 around Hiroshima. You know that a bomb exploded in Hiroshima in 1945, which led to the city being deserted due to radiation. The show is about returning to the site to observe the abandoned houses and objects left behind. At the time, the journalist thought he had found a mirror, because theoretically, the iPhone didn't exist in 1980. However, it was indeed an iPhone 13. The most worrying part is that no one can explain how an iPhone 13 ended up there in 1980. The journalist, perplexed, didn't know what to make of it and genuinely believed it was a mirror. So, who can explain this glitch in the Matrix?
How do you explain that?
I have checked the sources. It is
Other than
indeed
time
a
travel.
video from 1980. You can look it
Or
up on the
maybe some
internet.
kind of
The mystery has
multi-dimensional
sparked
portal?
numerous theories, from time travel to elaborate hoaxes. Regardless of the explanation, the video has captivated audiences worldwide.
Let me know what you think in the comments. Thanks for watching, and as always, stay weird.
And if you fell for that, you'll fall for anything. That was so clearly just a video filmed with old camera equipment to give it the appearance of an old clip. It's just now resurfacing because it's a brand new clip that's never been around before. I'm 100% convinced that's what's going on there. Guys and gals, I'm going to go ahead and end the video right there. I hope you enjoyed these clips we watched together today. I'll be back tomorrow with another video. I hope you come back to join me. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. And check out www.barry-stepp.com if you'd like to order yourself a shirt or a hat and help me support the channel. well. Also, don't forget to post your photos of your merch over in the Discord to get your photo and a video. But with all that out of the way, I hope everyone has a great, safe, fantastic rest of your day, and I will see you all tomorrow.